Senate now in
Nice.
District 26. And then yeah, and then we'll have a Q&A.
Wonderful. So, hello, everybody. It's great to be back with you all. I really appreciate your previous support of my campaign. This is my fourth big campaign. However, I've also had several neighborhood council campaigns that I've won. I actually just recently won my fourth campaign for neighborhood council, and it's my fourth and final term only because we actually have term limits in neighborhood council for mine particular. Ironic that we have term limits for the most local levels of government, but not for the highest levels of government. And when I initially won my first seat for neighborhood council, I really just enjoyed the work deeply. I felt very connected to my community and decided to run for higher office. And I decided to run for higher office because I was not satisfied with my congressperson at the time. And when I ran for US Congress in 2020 against Adam Schiff, it was at the time highly controversial because he was in the news a lot for his work against Donald Trump, which I think is the lowest possible bar. And I think a lot of people overlooked everything else that he did and where a lot of his money was coming from, and the fact that he's very pro-war and that he is Zionist. And so I now I'm finally feeling like folks are like, oh, now I understand why Maebe was running against Adam Schiff. So I ran against Schiff in 2020 and in 2022, ended up coming in second place out of nine candidates in 2022. We made history as the first openly trans non-binary person to ever advance to general election for a seat in U.S. Congress. Ended up getting over 60,000 votes. We had a lot of support. And it was the first time in my particular congressional district that there were ever two Democrats on the ballot. And talk about democracy. You actually get a choice of your moderate centrist corporate Democrat or your leftist Democrat. Unfortunately, we didn't make it through, but I decided to run for a third time when Schiff announced that he was running for federal Senate. And I said, okay, I made it to the general election last year. I'm going to try this again. Well, last election, when Schiff announced that he was running for Senate, everybody and their mom came out from under a rock to run in this race. And it ended up being the most crowded congressional primary in the whole state of California. We had 15 people run for my congressional district last year. And while I did not make it to the general election, we still made it pretty far. I was the last of five candidates to break 10%. I ended up beating out candidates that had raised over $1 million. I beat out candidates that had much higher elected positions than I. And we did that on about $130,000. So, really proud of the work that we did. And I said when I lost last year, I said, I'm not going to run for Congress again unless things drastically change. And then a seat that I had always kind of had my eye on opened up. So I'd always been interested in running for state senate, but my current representative, Senator Maria Elena Durazo, I really like her. I really respect her. I would never challenge her, but I saw that she was not seeking reelection so that she could run for LA County Supervisor. So knowing that it was an open seat in my district, I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to try this one more time. And a big reason why I wanted to run for this particular seat is because I thought about, had I won my seat in US Congress, right now, I would not really be able to do anything in Congress. I wouldn't be able to actually fulfill any of my campaign promises. In fact, I actually had a meeting with the current Congresswoman, Laura Friedman, and one of the things that she said to me, because I was there on behalf of a trans caucus, one of the things that she said was, "We can't do anything right now because of the fact that Republicans hold the House, the Senate, and the executive branch." And I thought to myself, we actually can do something in California. We really can do something considering the fact that we've had a supermajority of Democrats in the assembly in California for years at this point. That's not to say that I'm totally satisfied with who is in office. I'm disappointed by the fact that CalCare has come to come to the floor several times, and it keeps either, the clock keeps running out. Something is happening there, and I am running for this seat to bring universal health care to California, to bring housing for all policies, environmental justice, to keep ICE out of Los Angeles, out of California, and also to free Palestine. I know a lot of folks are saying, well, what does somebody who is in a state position, what can they do about, freeing Palestine? Well, I will tell you, when you are running, when you are an elected member of the most populous state in the United States, as well as the fourth largest economy in the world, this state absolutely has political influence. And if we can get the state to say, hey, we oppose what is happening in Palestine, we want to end the genocide, we want to stop sending bombs to Israel to kill Palestinians, that actually is going to have an impact. So I decided to run because Durazo stepped down and it's an open seat. As it stands right now, there are 5 people running, which for me is not a lot of people considering. Oh, did I freeze? Oh, hey, can you hear me? I feel like I froze for a sec. So I decided to run just because there's 5 people running in the race right now, all Democrats. We've got your moderate centrist Democrats. We've got a couple of center left. I am the decidedly progressive leftist candidate running in this race. And I've always said, how can we trust the people who have driven us into a ditch to get us out of the ditch? Now is not the time for moderate centrist Democrats. Now is the time for progressive leftists to really take the stage. And the way that we can keep fascism out of California is by instituting these progressive policies like universal health care, like housing for all, like environmental justice, like statewide, rent control. Things of this nature can happen. We deserve these things. We can afford these things. And if any place is going to do it, California is the place to do it. As somebody who is not held down by corporate politics, I am more than willing. I'm running so that I can say what is happening here. Why are we not voting for the policies that actually support Californians, that support all people? So I'm very excited to be running right now. Our race is kind of just getting started. We announced in June. We weren't able to do a lot of fundraising in June because the very same week that we announced our run, ICE started coming into Los Angeles. And so we spent the entire month of June into July supporting protests against ICE and did not feel comfortable asking people for money because we wanted people's dollars to be going to these causes that are extremely relevant and important. So we really just started fundraising this past month. In fact, we just started putting out our first paid ads just within the past week. Within the past week, we've already gotten almost 200 donations. Our donation average is about $25. So the folks that are supporting us are the folks that we would be supporting when elected. So folks that are unemployed, folks that are working class, middle class, folks that are struggling to get along. So when we get a donation from somebody that is unemployed or working class, it means so much to us. It means so much because these folks really don't have a lot to work with, and they're putting their trust in our campaign. And then when I take a look at the people that I'm running against, the person who's raised the most money right now, yeah, she's raised over $100,000. But you take a look at who it is, and she has the president of APAC supporting her race. She has multiple board members from APAC supporting her race. And you just kind of have to ask, why is APAC supporting a state Senate race? So for us, it's really about what we've always been doing, which is supporting the working class, supporting people who are part of marginalized communities. And I know that we can do this, and it feels like it's our time. In terms of the district itself, it's slightly different than the congressional district I ran in, for the better, actually. The areas that I did not perform well in, which were like the Burbank, Glendale area, which tend to be, yes, Democrat, but more like conservative Democrats, we didn't do well in those areas. But the areas that we did do well in, such as Silver Lake, which I'm already representing, Los Feliz, Hollywood, Echo Park, Frogtown, we won a lot of precincts in those districts. And now we get these other progressive areas that are coming into the new state Senate district that I'm running in, like Highland Park, Eagle Rock. So we're feeling really, really confident this time around. And slow and steady wins the race.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate like everything you've done, and I just don't know how you do it. I could never,
I
I
can't.
don't either.
I
I
could
don't even run a
never,
run.
yeah, like, and then you just keep going, and it seems like you look for a place where you could do the most work and benefit the most and try to fit right in there. And that's awesome because that's exactly what we need. And then everything that you said, of course, I mean, we all stand by. Uh, so I really don't have any questions except can you come on the 25th maybe too?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I can make it. And I'd love to be there. I'd love to support
Okay.
this organization. You know, this is, and I thank this organization because y'all have had my back since the beginning.
Mhm.
You know, we've applied with many other Democratic clubs, and you know, the way that we've been sort of just pushed aside has been disappointing. But you know, that's kind of the game. I hate to say it, but I'm not going to quit because some particular Democratic club doesn't support. Because here's what it comes down to. It comes down to not who you're endorsed by, not how much money you've raised, but actually what sort of impact are you going to make on the people? The people that are going to decide who wins my race or any other race is the voters themselves. So it's about getting that message out. And that's why money does matter to a degree where you've got to get the message out. You've got to send out mailers, you've got to be able to knock on doors, put up door hangers. But I don't think that the average voter cares whether, you know, candidate B has raised $100,000 versus candidate C who's raised this much money. They want to know what you stand for. And I know that people are just fed up right now. I mean, that's even why I ran to begin with. I was fed up. I'm still fed up. I'm not satisfied. And I know that's how a lot of people feel right now. So,
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm so fed up with Brad Sherman, my congressman. I don't know if everybody knows this, but they had a town hall last Thursday.
It was last Thursday. It was this past
Last
Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah, last
Yeah,
Thursday.
that was last Thursday.
It was, I just can't
The
even,
time.
like, I can't even believe that it was him and Laura Friedman, but I can't believe that I just can't believe they had the nerve to do it. I couldn't even believe it. Like, Brad Sherman has been my congressman for over 28 years, well, our congressman, and he has passed 5 bills that he did not write, that he sponsored, and that's it in 20 over 28 years. Um, every year, or every time it comes to campaign time, he passes out plastic cones with his information on it. And at this point, he has no hair anymore. So I don't, it's just, and so I didn't even know how he even had the guts to do that. But I did hear, I didn't go inside because he knows who I am. I've had it with him.
you're not welcome.
Well, I've just had it. I mean, how much can you tell somebody how you feel? You know what I mean? Like he knows, you know? And so I did hear that he was bird dogged. They both were bird dogged, which I'm glad about that. JVP was there and they were like totally protesting outside. So that was great. So, but yeah, I've thought about like nobody has run against him that can beat him in all this time. And people have ran against him. Someone's running against him right now. Chris Ahuja, who used to be the president of this club.
Not the president.
I mean, the
treasurer.
treasurer of this club.
The
He's running against him again, but like, you know, he takes money from Maebe.
He ran before Chris.
Chris
He ran
Ahuja
before?
No,
No.
I think it was
No, it's his.
Shervin ran before.
Shervin.
Oh, heard. Okay.
Shervin, yeah.
And then
Love
CJ
Shervin.
Berliner ran before Shervin. We've always had somebody to run against him, but nobody has ever even gotten over 5% of the vote
Mm,
because he takes so much money from donors.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So I thought about it. I was like, if I lose my job
Yeah. Yeah.
and somebody doesn't run against him next time, Because I just had
Interesting.
it with that guy.
Dude,
Totally had it.
it's so like once you do it, you're like, I mean, maybe you can say this more so than me, but I thought in April, I'm like, I'll see what happens. And then you just start letting that fuel you, and you're like, oh, we
You.
are the ones we've been waiting for. Got it. So that'll be interesting. Chris, I think I'm connected with Chris. I
In
didn't know where
St.
he was running. Is that 32?
It's
Yeah.
32. Yeah.
Chris is good
Interesting.
people.
There's a few
He's gonna
people.
come. He's gonna fill out the questionnaire and everything.
Cool.
But yeah, but there just hasn't been anybody,
I mean,
and
we
Shervin
need
was really good. Shervin
meaningful,
was
yeah.
so good. He was
Yeah.
such a good speaker, and it's the money. You got to
Yeah.
have like,
Money. It's the
yeah, it's the
money.
money. It's just crazy.
And then we need to raise money to effectively start getting money out of politics. And I'm like, I've been on my own since I was 17. Why am I asking anyone for help? What is this? And
Yeah.
then,
Hello. I know Angela, we have the same thing, like Chloe,
yeah,
the campaign manager who's on the meeting. We've had so many conversations about how we hate asking people for money because
it's
our
the worst.
supporters are working class,
It was,
unemployed folks who don't
Yeah.
have the money to be able to do it, and they still support our campaign. And
Yeah.
that's part of why I keep going because they're putting the faith in us. We gotta
Hmm.
put the fight in.
Yeah. No, I know. The same. I mean, as a volunteer on my neighborhood council, I was being tasked with solving homelessness. And I was like, I'll get right on that. I'm working
Yeah.
2 jobs. I just wanted to make stickers for Highland Park and t-shirts. And then I'm like being yelled at every meeting. And then I thought, oh, it's because we're the only accessible and the closest form of government, sure.
Hello.
But it's because it's like they have no access to Jimmy, in my case, Jimmy Gomez, who I've tried to, and I was neighborhood council president, and then it
Yeah,
was,
who
president,
does
president.
have
yeah,
access? APAC.
you know what I mean? They met their match, man, because I'm like, because of you guys, we have nothing left to lose. So guess what? We have everything to gain. But the money in politics is really miserable. I'm seeing it. I mean, obviously, I've seen it from another angle before. And then yeah, it's like people are like, hey, this is my only $5 out of my social security check. Or like,
That five
hey,
dollars means that $5 means so much more than
yeah,
$5,000 from the president of APAC. Am I
Right.
right?
yes, it's
Yeah.
been so crazy. Yeah,
Mhm.
where I'm like, oh man, we really have a big problem. But I think the tide is shifting, right? Like, I mean, you've ran a few times maybe before, and like, I've never seen people talk more about the fact that we need to get money out of politics to start effectively lowering the cost of living for people so we can live our lives. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Totally.
We're not trying to do anything else. So I have hope, and I'm so excited to be here with y'all. And I'm going to see you on the 25th? Is
Yeah,
that
the
what we're
20